Today we have the top selection of horror films. This is Movie Recap new channel. And so the first list. To deliver us from evil, the movie starts in 2010 in Iraq. Three Marines discover an ancient cave with strange letters inside. What they found there. It would be better if you find out while watching the movie. Later actions are transferred to 2013. Police Sergeant Ralph Sarchi investigates a series of disturbing and unexplained crimes, and when everything that happens defies reasonable explanation, he seeks help from a specialist in exorcism and the paranormal, to Mendizi. When meeting Joe, Sarchi learns that he has a gift. He sees and hears demons, but is very skeptical about this information. Everything changes when he finds the answers, which cannot be exactly explained, and they are not of this world. In the end he has a choice: believe in everything that happens, and perform an exorcism, or act according to the law in relation to the crime. Three Crazed Marines. The movie is very interesting. But besides that, he is terribly scary. It has an intriguing storyline. I recommend it to you. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. In a small town where everyone knows each other, police investigate the brutal murder of an entire family. There are no traces of break-ins and evidence at the crime scene that someone entered the house. All windows and doors were locked from the inside. The body of an unfamiliar woman was found in the basement of the house. There are no visible signs of violence on the body. First conclusion that the family was trying to escape from something. But why? Later, the stranger is brought to two local pathologists, Austin and Tommy Kilden. They have a family business. The police are asking for a report by morning, and they urgently need answers. They immediately get to work, and that's where it all starts. The girl has a number of unexplained scenes pathologies. Waist disproportionate to the body. All the limbs were broken, but there were no bruises on the body. Tongue cut off, and they decide on an autopsy. But this is what they will find inside her. During the autopsy, I suggest you find out while watching the movie. The Skeleton Key. At the beginning of the film nothing foreshadowed trouble, but as always, this is only the beginning. Young Carolee got a job as a nurse. Her task is to look after the paralyzed and dumb old man Ben. Troop survivors, Wu has less than a month to live. His wife Violet hands her the key, opening all doors in a 30-room house. Soon Caroline finds one room in the attic, which she cannot open. Later she learns the horror story of the house. About 100 years ago, in a room, which she could not open in the attic, lived a married couple of black servants of a successful banker. They practiced voodoo magic. One day a banker arranges a banquet on the occasion of the anniversary, and during the celebration, guests discover the banker's children in the attic, along with these servants. For some ritual, the indignant Ukis considered it necessary to lynch the sorcerers by arranging lynching, and nowadays everyone is afraid to open this room, since on it, the death curse of the murdered rumor. In general, the history of the house is saturated with mysticism, and this will have to figure out Caroline, whether she made the right decision or not. I suggest you figure it out for yourself while watching this movie. Dr. Sleep. The horror film is based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King, sequel to The Shining 1980. Sometime after the experience at the Overlook Hotel, Danny Torrance and his mother Wendy are moving to Florida. Danny is haunted by the ghost of an angry woman in room 237 of the Overlook Hotel. The spirit of Denny's longtime friend, Dick Halloran, with whom the boat consults from time to time, explains to him that the ghosts feed on Denny's psychic abilities. His so-called radiance. Now that the hotel is abandoned, cold ghosts are hunting the boy, so Halloran teaches him to close the spirits in imaginary box. Meanwhile, secret society Truth Not, a cult of psychic vampires, led by Rose, prey on shining children. Cult members consume steam, a psychic essence, for release during the torture and killing of the shining ones, thereby extending their lives. Dan has a new friend he uses telepathy, chatting with a girl named Ebra. She has a huge power of radiance, and when he realizes she's in danger, and she's being hunted by the vampire cult, he just has to save his only friend. Dear friends, if you haven't seen The Shining 1980, that does not mean that this film is a direct-indirect continuation. There is no storyline here, so you cannot worry and take it to view. Get Out. Not many horror films receive an Oscar nomination. Nominations for Best Original Screenplay, and it is well deserved. The movie is very different from the standard horror. There are no sharply frightening scenes in it, but maybe a couple. The horror in it makes a certain atmosphere of the whole situation of the protagonist, to stay forever closed in your own body, and be a spectator in your head. This idiot is terrible. But how did it all start? From a standard acquaintance with the girl's parents. An ordinary family, but with a huge past and future for a young guy. He is like a ticket to a new life for them. The idea of the film itself is not new. Similar to the movie The Key to All Doors. And if you like that movie, then you will definitely like this one. But the most important thing in the film is a great ending. I remember what mixed emotions the end of the movie caused me. Therefore, I suggest you familiarize yourself with this picture. The next film on the list with a simple title, The Mist, but not quite a simple plot. Based on Stephen King's The Fog. In a small town after a hurricane, would image the house. The main character and his son go to the local supermarket to buy everything you need to clean up the aftermath of the hurricane. Before leaving, they notice that from the mountains where the military base is located, a very thick fog descends, but did not attach any importance to this. To go shopping, while in the supermarket, everyone notices that thick fog has covered the whole city. But it's not the fog itself that's scary, but what it brought with it, and what lives in it. The film shows the behavior of people very well, that remained closed under the same roof, hiding from danger in the fog. With a detailed view, you can even find a psychological portrait of yourself, or someone you know. How would you behave in such a situation? I also want to pay tribute to the ending of the film. I've been waiting for a lot, but there is certainly no such turn. 2007 film, and many have not even heard of it. So if you missed this masterpiece, must see. The Conjuring. The film is based on 2 case studies. Paranormal investigators, Ida and Lorraine Warren. The intro is based on the case of the obsessed Annabelle doll, based on the story of the Sperrin family in 1979. I will honestly say that I have not seen more terrible films than The Spells and The Astral. For me, it was scary not only from the film adaptation. The film was shot exactly from recordings of real events, and this is the case when the continuation of The Conjuring 2 was even worse than Part 1. First of all, it has a very interesting story, not a boring script, and excellent camera work. After such films you begin to believe in an evil spirit, but it's just a film that received high reviews from movie critics. The picture's rating is 86% based on 223. Reviews with an average score of 7.2 out of 10. If you like the horror genre, then you definitely watched it. I just couldn't miss it. It really deserves to be watched. The Awakening. The action of the picture takes place in 1921. Florence Carcat is a scientific skeptic. She exposes all senses, finds an explanation in everything paranormal, and proved the opposite. In her life she has exposed all cases related to the unexplained, proving everything in practice from a scientific point of view. She's a skeptic, and nothing will make her believe in a higher power. But everything changes when she is hired in a country boarding school, where it is rumored that there is increased spiritualistic activity. Students complain that they often see a ghost, a boy with a disfigured face, and everyone at school is very scared of his appearance. For Florence, this is an ordinary case. At first she is sure that she can dispel this myth, but then a frightening encounter with the supernatural makes her change her mind. Before, she could explain everything, but this time it's different. The film is interesting in that it has a story, which the director was able to film perfectly. It has thriller references and of course a lot of mysticism, paranormal activity, and the subsequent continuation of the story of the young couple Katie and Mick, who move to a new house. At night they are disturbed by strange sounds. Beginners, this couple is seriously worried. Katie reveals that a ghostly entity has been haunting her since she was 8 years old, wherever she lived, and now apparently is in their house. Mickey decides to buy a camera and put it in the house, turning it on when they go to bed, and this happens every night. That's what the camera shoots suggests you find out while watching. I want to pay tribute to this picture. With a budget of $15,000, the film earned $196 million at the box office. This is Paramount's best film ever. Such a simple idea, but it is she who makes us believe. The film is more like a real family story, as if you are watching the tapes that the camera took in that house. Sequels were also frightening, but over time, this technique ceased to work so well. But the movie deserves your attention, and it's great to watch a big company with family or friends. In general, I recommend it to you. Sinister. The main characters of the movie are a son, author of a series of best-selling detective genre books, moved with his family to a new house. He has not created anything for a long time and he needs inspiration. And he finds it, so to speak. In the attic of the house, there is a box with old films. The video shows a family being killed by hanging them from a tree in the yard of the same house in which Arison moved. He learns that a family lived in the house before them, who was mysteriously killed, hung them on a tree. One child is missing. Arison, having found evidence, does not rush to the police, but decides to figure it out himself. And every evening when everyone at home is sleeping, he watches all the films. On each everything is the same, except for the methods of killing families. But Arison saw something in the footage, not of this world, something terrible. And what exactly and how will the film develop further? I advise you to find out while watching. I know very well that I missed the film Mirrors, Straw, and many more good films in this genre. Well, what else exactly did I miss? Please write in the comments. But don't forget to like and subscribe to the Movie Recap new channel.